I'm Satya, and we've researched ways to improve the marketing for the 2014 Arctic Winter Games to college students. The Arctic Winter Games is the world's largest northern multi-sport and cultural event and is considered a celebration of athletic competition, culture, friendship, and cooperation between northern nations. The event will feature over 2,000 participants between the ages of 13 and 24 that will meet for friendly athletic competition between March 15th and the 22nd of 2014. The Games provide an opportunity to strengthen and showcase our young people and our community through international games and sports development. And I just realized that. So here I have, the very first Arctic Winter Games were in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, which is right here. And the only contingents that were involved were Alaska, Yukon Territory, and the Northwest Territories. And then now they have added 6 more territories: Nunavut, Alberta North, Nunavut, Greenland, and then also Sapmi and Yamal. So there's 3 organization models for the Games. This first one here on the left is the International Committee. It is their responsibility to supervise the overall development and implementation of the Games. The 3 interlocking rings here you see in the center represent athletic competition, cultural exhibition, and social interaction. The backdrop there is representative of the Northern Lights, which us in the northern nations get to appreciate and enjoy. And it's surrounded by a white ring, which represents the circumpolar world. In the middle is the Fairbanks Host Society. So that's kind of when a community gets awarded the Games, this host society is formed. They are in motion until about 6 months after the Games, until they will then dissolve. The host society is responsible for putting on the Games in accordance with the terms and the contracts signed by the host community and the international community. The very right image is Team Alaska. That's just all participants throughout Alaska. That is what is represented there. So there's many benefits for the Arctic Winter Games. For the participant, the Games provide the opportunity for developing the athlete to compete in a friendly competition while sharing cultural values with other northern regions around the world. For the sport, the Games provide a vehicle for sport development throughout the North. For host communities, the Games provide an opportunity for community development and pride. And for the government, the Games enhance the establishment of effective partnerships in order to improve the lives of Northerners while promoting Northern unity and cultural understanding. These benefits are deep-rooted and will have a long-lasting effect in Fairbanks. Now, I will introduce you to Ravy. Ravy is the mascot for the Arctic Winter Games. His story is one that started sad and then blossomed into something good. He was shy and thought, he wasn't good at anything. He didn't know what his future was going to hold until one day he opened up his wings and he flew. And his quote is that he finally discovered his talent, and he knows that you can too if you have great spirit and northern dreams. He promotes involvement and the courage in young people to try new things and uncover their hidden talents. Ravy symbolizes a young person's dilemma of trying to find their place in the world. He shows that all you have to do is try, search, and you'll find the person that you're meant to be. Here kind of shows, so first of all, you'll notice that Ravy is in every one of their headings for their social media. This first website here on the left is the main Arctic Winter Games website that holds information on how to volunteer, the sports, the contingents. They also have a Facebook and Twitter page, which also hold the same Ravy holiday-themed cover, and then the YouTube. So we feel that college students can be easily reached through these social media outlets. We choose to focus our research on college students in Fairbanks for 2 reasons. 1, they currently seem to have very little knowledge of the Arctic Winter Games. And 2, they would be extremely valuable in generating buzz and in turn increase revenue for the Games overall. To help better understand this demographic, we surveyed 80 UAF students. Jarrett will now tell you about that survey.
We conducted a 10-question survey on campus that 80 students participated in. And I'll just quickly go over it with you briefly. The first question was, are you an Alaska resident? And we found out that 89% of the students who did the survey were residents. The second question was, were you aware of the Arctic Winter Games? Yes and no. And if you were, how did you hear about it? And the top 2 answers for that were that people heard about it through the newspaper and through an athlete that participated in it. The third question was the top 3 events that you would be most likely to see. The fourth was the events that you were least likely to attend. Fifth was any events that were unfamiliar to you, and for that we had 3 who were pretty much the very top, so I'll get more into that later. The sixth one was, it said the date of the Arctic Winter Games, and it said how likely are you to attend the games. Seventh is what media source would most likely get your attention. Eighth would be, would you consider volunteering for the Arctic Winter Games? What is your age and what is your gender? Here are the demographics. Through the survey, we kind of lucked out. It was about half and half, 51% female and 49% male. And over half of the people who participated in the survey were through the ages of 18 to 21, which is pretty much the prime age of the people who participate in the games. And so that was pretty good because you can get insight on people, your peers, and see what they think about the games and what they know about it as well. And here's our main graph. If you look at the green, those are events that were unfamiliar. In the red, 3 events that were least likely to attend, and in the blue, the top 3 that people would attend. The top 3 that people would attend were kind of obvious. It would snowboarding, hockey, and table tennis. The top 3 that people were least likely to attend were snowshoeing, badminton, and table tennis as well, which is kind of weird. Half the people picked table tennis, half the people didn't. So I myself would watch table tennis, maybe. So I don't really know. So, and the top 3 that were unfamiliar were the Denny Games, the Inuit Games, as well as snowshoeing too. Snowshoeing was in the category of the top 3 least likely to attend, as well as unfamiliar. So you might want to do a better job of informing people what the games are and what. I know that's kind of a lot to ask to because there's a lot of games, as you can see, but maybe a brief description of the ones who are a little bit cloudy, so people will know what the games are about. Maybe a small description of it, and Aaron will tell you a little bit more about familiarity with the games.
Thanks, Jared. So after getting this information from the survey that we did, we were able to kind of make some outline some strategies that we believe could really help move the marketing of the Arctic Winter Games forward. As you can see right here, this is the Facebook page, and Facebook is definitely at the center of the marketing for the 2014 Arctic Winter Games. A big part of that is the fact that Fairbanks is, Facebook is the social networking tool definitely most used in Fairbanks. A lot of the United States is actually moving away from it. There's actually a 14% decline in use of Facebook, but that's not as consistent in the northwestern area. And so Facebook is definitely the main social networking tool here in Fairbanks. It's also an inexpensive and cost-effective way to market to people of all different types, because there are a lot of different people that use Facebook. As you can see here, it's a well-designed page. It's eye-catching, it has a lot of color, and it's simple and straightforward, which is really something that helps people to understand what they're about. They, as Satya pointed out, they have Review right here, and that really ties it together with all the other Arctic Winter Games information. We think that probably one of the most important things to do is to keep the posts going, keep it updated, keep relevant information on there, and that way people will really continue to follow it and stay interested. Over the couple of months nearest to the games, actually coming close to February of 2014, the posts should be more frequent, and they should be even on a daily basis. That way people will really see there's someone behind there and there's momentum towards the games. Another idea that we had is that we could actually have appreciation shown to both the volunteers and the donors of the games on the Facebook page. This would not only encourage additional donation, but it would also provide donors with inexpensive and positive publicity. And it would also strengthen the relationship between the Arctic Winter Games and those who donate to it. Aside from regular text updates, Facebook activity should also integrate a substantial amount of links and video showing other sites that have Arctic Winter Games information. Here is the Arctic Winter Games YouTube, and this is really an interesting thing that can be used because it can be connected to the Facebook page through any videos that are posted on Facebook. But but it'll also bring people from YouTube to Facebook and back and forth. So there's different communities that won't necessarily see one or the other, which will be brought, and they can learn more about it. For past host committees, specifically the White Horse in 2012, video was one of their most popular forms of media, and it really brought in a lot of interest in the games. We think this should be kept in mind, and that it could really help get the information out there. Twitter is also one of the most popular social media networks, and it's not quite as big here in Fairbanks. Like I said, Facebook is definitely the largest, but it is becoming more popular, and similar guidelines, as we stated, for Facebook should be used to help keep people interested and just basically build excitement for the games. As Jared said, we conducted a survey of 80 UAF students, and they were all in a variety of different studies. 89% of them were Alaska residents, and we actually had some surprising information from that, and that was that 45% of the people we surveyed had no awareness of the games whatsoever. This is a very important statistic for two reasons. The first reason is that this age group is the most active online and in social media. Socialbuzz.com states that 18 to 25-year-olds make up the largest portion of Facebook users, 29% actually, and if you include 13 to 17-year-olds, it actually goes all the way up to 40%. So it's a very young population that does a lot of the action on Facebook. This is significant because this age group also has twice as many Facebook friends as those 30 to 40 and posts 3 times as much information online. So there's really a lot more going out and coming in, and just in general they can be a really useful tool to generate buzz about the games. The second important reason is that all Arctic Winter Game athletes are within this age group. And so not only does this make the event more relevant to the people who would be hearing about it, but it would also further promote the game for future athletes. And down the road, when new games come along, someone may have heard of it from Facebook or Twitter, and that could really get someone who is involved in any of these sports to want to move forward and maybe be involved in it. We think that to better reach this portion of the Fairbanks population, the Arctic Winter Games marketing team could focus on informing them of the upcoming games and building excitement for specific sporting events, not necessarily the games as a whole. As we discussed earlier, this graph shows the events that people are most interested in and least interested in. You can see that by far, snowboarding and hockey are the 2 most popular, followed by table tennis and closely by figure skating and gymnastics. We think that if these specific events were promoted, people would really see that there was events they were interested in that would draw them to the Winter Games. Simple yet bright and interesting flyers and posters could be posted in areas around university, schools, any kind of hangouts that young people might be in, possibly coffee huts or places like that. We think that also due to their immense popularity among the sports community and young people in general, stickers are a big thing, especially here in Fairbanks. If the stickers had like a modern artistic representation of the Arctic Winter Games logo, people would very likely be putting those on gear, cars, basically anything, and that would, in a sense, generate its own advertising space, and it would be inexpensive, and it would be really a way to get the word out there. It's free and not completely free, but inexpensive and self-sufficient advertisement. Also, drawings on Facebook are something that we've seen successful with other venues. Drawings for Arctic Winter Games memorabilia, also tickets, because obviously young people don't necessarily have a lot of money to spend on certain things like this, and that could really draw them and in turn their friends in to come and be part of the games. We think that all of these ideas can be accomplished with pretty limited funds and would likely create excellent buzz for Arctic Winter Games as a whole. Well, Facebook and Twitter should be at the center of the marketing effort. Other forms of media should also be used to connect with those who aren't online. Obviously, television and radio are big here in Fairbanks. Although they are a little bit more expensive, to overcome the problem of cost, we could approach television and radio stations with the possibility of supporting the games through free or discounted airtime. Maybe we could get advertisement support from them, and in return, they could be given advertising rights as official sponsors of the games. So we just think as a whole, these are some ideas that could really help make the games as successful as possible.
Good evening. In conclusion, for our business marketing team, I'm proud to say that we have gained strong hands-on experience in marketing and have finished our project well. By reaching our goals for the semester and exceeding in collecting data, analyzing sources, and forming a good interpretation of ways to improve the marketing aspects of the 2014 Arctic Winter Games. The marketing team for the Arctic Winter Games consists primarily of Karen Lane, Camille Relatato, and Cherie Soli here tonight. Thank you for your cooperation through meeting and interviews, leading class discussions, and answering your questions on the Arctic Winter Games. They have done an outstanding job of constructing a marketing plan to promote games and yet keep it constrained enough to respect the relevance of time as it accords to the games. With roughly 14 months until the games, it is important not to overshoot the marketing plan by putting out promotions too far in advance. The marketing plan is prepared well and carefully planned. Through our interviews, they have done a great job of bringing that up to us. They'll be tested like any plan is, but these marketing leaders are all well prepared for anything that they may encounter. Getting volunteers is an enormous challenge. With 760 volunteers committed to date, they're well on their way to reaching the 2,500 that they want to get to before the games. I think it's needless to say that getting volunteers is a huge challenge. Here is here's a graph that we have. It just shows that the students here are probably further away from being that volunteering crowd that they want to get to. So what this says is that it is a huge challenge, and so it takes great marketers to bring in those volunteers. The games wouldn't happen without volunteers, and so that's a huge area that as a marketing team you want to get to. This brings me to the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis, it consists of these four aspects. So within strengths, we're talking about particular culture here in Fairbanks is very unique. It has a very unique culture, with the Native Alaskan culture here. Obviously the games are not just about athletics, but they are about the culture. Weaknesses, volunteers obviously is an area where with 760 volunteers to date and getting to 2,500 as the primary goal, that's only 30%, so continuing on to get there. Opportunities, deficit in winter tourism. Obviously this is a great place to be in the summertime, and sometimes people aren't as excited to come here in the wintertime for obvious reasons, but hopefully they can hit that unique niche there and bring in the right amount of people for the games. Threats, being a secluded community far further north in Alaska can be a threat, as maybe if the games aren't the main attraction, it can be difficult to bring people to the games from out of Fairbanks. Finally, the Arctic Winter Games has three objectives. We wish to accomplish athletic competition, cultural exchange, and social interaction. This event is much more than just athletics. It goes beyond the surface of competition. The Arctic Winter Games have been a pleasure to work on and research. We are all excited for the marketing plan as it develops towards the Arctic Winter Games in 14 months. On behalf of our group, thank you for your attention and have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we hope to see you at the 2014 Arctic Winter Games.